Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review for Married at First Sight, Season 18, Episode 11. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share with a friend. Hit that notification bell so that you will be updated each and every time I upload a video. Now, child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. Let me just say this. Baby, this episode was boring. Okay, it was a little bit lackluster. But they had my emotions all over the place. From the experts pissing me off, to Emem pissing me off, to Ikechi playing in my face. Everybody was pissing me off. So, child, let's just get right into it, shall we? 26 days until decision day. So we see David. He's on his way to the gym. He said it's his happy place. The weather is nice and his hair looks wet. Then we see Emem, and she's waking up alone. Baby, the way that I would be screaming with joy over the balcony, good morning. Baby, I would be so damn happy, but that's just me. Now, she's upset over him leaving because she really wanted her marriage. Girl, goodbye. Juan and Carla. So she's at home playing with her sound bowls, being that she's free from work, and one of her friends stops by. So then we find out that one of her clients stopped by to get their hair done in the restroom on the toilet. Ma'am, please move the bowls and do the hair in the living room. I said, I wish I would come to somebody's house and you see me on your toilet in your restroom. Child, absolutely not. Now, I understand that everybody got to work somewhere. And, you know, half the time there are kitchen beauticians, but we at least like to be in the living room. Okay, and you can even convert the garage. But I don't want to sit on your toilet. I'm sorry. Nasty. Moving forward. So her and her friend, they sit down to eat. And so Carla is telling her that she's been reflecting on her marriage to Juan and what she could do more of. And she knows that Juan is very analytical. So she kind of wants to pick his brain as far as business is concerned, because she realizes that she could learn some things from him. I mean, I'm listening to what they're saying and whatnot, but I was also hungry during this scene. And baby, those egg rolls were fried to perfection. I said, oh, that food look good. Baby, y'all need to stop all that talking and eat. Baby, just go on, eat. Don't worry about all that talking. Moving forward. Emem and Ikechi. So the little twerp shows up in his uniform to meet Pastor Calvin. Hey, y'all. And he says he moved out because he didn't feel comfortable in that space. He didn't feel like his house was a home. Okay. Pastor Calvin wants to know, well, what is the issue and when did it start? He said it started during the honeymoon because she wanted to have sex. He was like, yeah, she'll just take any old man. It didn't matter. It didn't matter who it was. She'll take anybody. She just want to be married. Isn't that the premise? Marrying a stranger sight unseen? Now, we know that she got you. Okay, and Lord knows that was a huge mistake. But she is willing to work with whomever she gets. That is the premise of the show. But we know a clown that strictly is on here for opportunity and for exposure wouldn't know that. So then he brings up how she wanted to shower together on the honeymoon. Then this man says, and then she gonna have enough nerve to ask me if I want to move in with her. Who does that? Y'all are married. You little emotionally unavailable weirdo. Y'all are married. What are you talking about? So you don't want to take a shower with her. That's cool. Because, you know, sometimes, you know, pump your brakes a little bit. We're not there yet. We just got through being on the rose petal covered bed down to the Marriott. And now we're on a plane. Sure, we're in Mexico, baby. I don't even know you like that. Okay, so just hold them up, swole them up. I get it. But for her to start talking about where you're going to live after this is over makes perfect sense. I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the Ikechi. That means that the two of you are married. Okay, so I don't know what you're talking about. You're mad because she wants to talk about the future? Boy, goodbye and good night. Moving forward. This is not The Masked Singer. Okay, you are here to be married, not recite your little poems and sing your little songs. Even Pastor Cal was confused because, what are you talking about? Then he starts lying and grasping for straws, and she belittles me. She makes me feel small. He had absolutely no example of such thing. Please give me an example. I'm really trying not to go off on you, okay? Because that's what y'all like to say. Just say that you feel inadequate, and seeing her space, you panicked. Okay, because you realized that you're going to have to put that bag down and get to work. Just say that. But to sit here and try to figure out things to say. Oh, I really want these people to dislike her. She was breathing yesterday. She's tall. She's tall and she's breathing. It doesn't make any difference. It don't make no damn sense, Ikechi. It don't make no sense. You said absolutely nothing. You did all that talking and you didn't say nothing. So then Pastor Cal tells him, well, we actually encourage that behavior. Okay, so since that didn't work, now what else you got? He gonna say, well, I mean, I have to like her and I just don't like her. He said, what don't you like about her? He said, I don't like her attitude. I don't like her personality. I know. We ain't talking about not liking somebody's attitude and personality. If that ain't the pot calling the kettle calling the pot calling the kettle. So then he lies and says, because, you know, I've never once disrespected her. Oh, but what he say that for? Let me tell you something. He might need to be evaluated because the disrespect is in the room with us. So then Pastor Cal says, so you didn't call her an a-hole? He gonna say, I mean, when you act like one, that's what you gonna get called. 2 seconds later. I mean, I've been disrespectful to her. Okay. So at that point, expert, I'm going to need you to pay attention. And this is when I need you to say, which one is it? Have you disrespected your wife or have you not? Have you created a safe space for her to feel comfortable asking these questions? Or is it just you do what you want? And when you feel like talking and opening up, then that's when we'll talk. Is the communication a two-way street or no? Like, come on now. We got to act like we got some sense. He said, you know, the more and more that I've seen of her, I'm seeing the real version. Yeah, you know what? The more that you saw her accomplishments, the smaller you felt. Pastor Cal wanted to know if it's possible to work it out if she changes. Now, I want you to listen to the verbiage that is being used. Will you work it out if she changes? This man just told you he called his wife an asshole. Will you work it out if she changes? Baby, I am too through. If she changes, I cannot believe how this man is making it seem like Emem is putting him down, but then he turns right around and says that he's open to seeing if it could work. He couldn't come back around me. Period. He could not come back around me. He's double-minded and he's dangerous. No, thank you. I am not that desperate. You stay at your place, you and your old air fryer. Both of y'all will be outside my door because you definitely wouldn't be in there sleeping with me. I don't even care if you're in the other room. We would not be in the same place because anything that you do and anything that I do, you will find a way to twist it. We would have to be under 24-hour surveillance like an episode of Big Brother. There is absolutely no way that I would be with you alone. No way. And did y'all notice that he was all smiles with Pastor Cal? Now, there's a big difference between how he responded to Pastor Cal than when he sat with Dr. Pia. He does not respect women, period. And most of these relationship gurus and these Derek Jacksons of the world, they cater and pander to the emotional side of women, all while secretly hating us. Okay, so I really want us in 2025 to stop going underneath their posts and looking at their videos. They speak and they telling what the men, baby. Behind closed doors, he is an Ikechi. Y'all gonna have to start paying attention, child. Absolutely not. And this one right here, him and his little ebook, they are definitely pandering to women that think this is so romantic. Y'all heard what his mama said? As soon as she said with Emem, well, you know, he's kind of a celebrity. How are you going to handle the women? Where are these women? Show yourselves. Baby, if you are attached to Ikechi, please show yourself, child. And Pastor Cal is always just so disappointing. You always disappoint me, Pastor Calvin. Call him to the carpet for his treatment of this woman. This is not the time to be sitting here skinning and grinning. And you ain't even take your glasses off. 25 days until decision day. Madison and Alan. So Madison is telling us that Alan planned a date night, but when they got home, because they went out to the bar to drink, you know, that's their favorite pastime. It's either the bar or the gym. So when they got home, Alan said he wanted to go sleep at his house. Now, she didn't want him to leave because he had been drinking. And I feel like that's definitely irresponsible. Alan, I like you, but you're wrong on this one. That is irresponsible. There are innocent people on the road. I don't care if you threw one back. I don't care if you had 50 shots. I don't care if you had a half a drink. You drank alcohol. She is right. You do not need to be leaving. But at the same time, there's some context that is missing as to why Madison is upset that he left. David, his hair, and Michelle. So he goes to meet with Dr. Peppers, and she's checking in with him because Michelle has yet to make it. So he's telling her that Michelle doesn't think that he can provide. And so Dr. Pepper said, well, David, you remind her of where she was, and she's acting out of panic. And I agree with that. That was very well stated, Dr. Pepper. Now, Dr. Pepper, you were doing good on some scenes, but then some scenes you were pissing me off as well. But this was good. I agree with that. She feels like he represents struggle, and she has worked her way out of it, and she doesn't want to go back. So I definitely understand that. And she's also not physically attracted to him. She's just not. So she finally arrives. Hey, girl. And she sits down. She's saying that, yeah, we've made great strides. Dr. Pepper said, tell me about it. Well, I got home one night and we spoke for 20 minutes. That's different. Girl. I'm not finna play with these people. I am not finna play with these people. I try so hard to take this show seriously. But honey is giving ignorance. Now we spoke for 20 minutes and that's different. Okay. Dr. Pepper wants an example, but they don't know what example to give because it is none. Dr. Pepper is telling her that she's acting out of fear, and she wants David to talk to Michelle about the challenges that he had growing up. So he talks about being pulled from public school to private school where he was around predominantly white children and he really didn't understand why he was there. Sir, what does that have to do with anything? And I was thinking he was going to say, come to find out my parents were separating, but it was nothing. It was just like, come on from the public school and go to the private school. And he said he was a little bit confused as to why he was around people that didn't look like him. Well, that explains so much. And it explains why you are putting up with meanie Michelle. It really does. Michelle tells Dr. Pepper that when she was younger, they really struggled a lot as kids. So Dr. Pepper said, did that embarrass you? No, it didn't embarrass me. But you know, we had to have cards that were different at lunch than everybody else. And I was embarrassed because we didn't have. I'm like, girl, so you were embarrassed. I don't know if y'all not listening. I don't know if you don't know what the meaning of words are. She said that they were given different color lunch cards and she was embarrassed. So girl, you were embarrassed. It's okay. And listening to this, it further lets me know that therapy is needed first. She has never gotten rid of those wounds. They're still open. And you can't just put a Band-Aid on them, honey. You need stitches. Okay, so we're going to have you go see the lady because you're not ready to be with anybody that does not have the amount of zeros that you require. She feels like David is 10 years behind her. She said, yeah, and he has a level of immaturity. 10 years? Girl, be so for real. Now, I get the basement thing, but how is he light years behind you? She says that he's immature, but I'm trying to figure out where has he shown immaturity? He's actively trying. Now, his hair gives immaturity, but other than that, oh, and he sleeps next to the major appliances. Other than that, what gives immaturity? I'm really trying to figure it out. Dr. Pepper wants David to reassure his wife that he can take care of her. He turns to her and he says, in a year, if I get this promotion, in a year or two, I'm going to be making as much as you. I mean, the savings aren't there yet, but they can. Where are all the people who told me David was sitting on a stack of money in his savings? David, you have been saving on rent. And you mean to tell me that you do not have a substantial savings? How are you going to buy all of these things that you've been talking about? I can buy a house right now if I want to. No, you cannot. You ain't got two nickels to rub together. What's in your savings? I told y'all. Didn't I tell y'all this was giving Gil? I told y'all this was Gil season 13. I told you. Y'all gonna start listening to me. David, that is insane. No, sir. And he tried to slide it on in there. And see, everybody is so worried and focused on what Michelle is saying that David is saying things too. And some of her concerns are valid. Because you mean to tell me at 39 years old, you don't have a savings? Boy, bye. Moving forward. So Dr. Pepper is telling them that they need to talk about their fears and if they can be helped together. I personally don't think so. Okay, I don't think that this is going to work, but anything for a scene, right? Okay, anything for TV, right? Michelle needs to be with Juan because he's as money focused as she is. Maybe that would have been a better match. Madison and Alan. So she's still looking for Alan in the daytime with a flashlight, child. And he finally pulls up in his hoopty so they can talk. She gets in. He's telling her that he was capable of driving home. And there was something that he had to do the next morning and he needed a good night's sleep. She feels like he made that decision selfishly. David, I'm speaking directly to you, sir. Okay? You shouldn't be behind the wheel after drinking. I don't care if it's a straight line. I don't care. Anything can happen after you get behind the wheel of a car. Even short distances. You do not need to drink and drive. Then he starts saying, I only had one beer. I'm a 200-pound man. I can do this. I can do that. She's right. You should not have driven your car home. If you live 15 minutes away and you've been drinking, you should not have driven your car. But Maddie, you talking about him sleeping at his place? You slept at your place the first night back. And don't think I forgot. And David, I think you're wrong on this because that was dangerous. Moving forward. So he said if he were drunk, then okay. But he was not. She said, well, you still had alcohol in your system. That's selfish. If there is somebody on the road and if at any moment something overtook you and you had the presence of alcohol in your system, you have cost someone their life, all because you want to get a good night's sleep, and they'll probably never make it home. It may not seem like it's that serious, but I have watched enough after school specials to know that that is a fool. Okay? And I'm joking with that, but I'm very serious when I say that you could put other people's lives in jeopardy. If you want to do you, then do you, but don't do it at the expense of others. That is insane. She doesn't think that they should drink when they go out. She's like, oh, we don't need to be drinking together. And I agree, because every time y'all go out for drinks, it ends in a show. Y'all don't need to drink no more. And you definitely don't need to go out drinking together. Now, I know that Alan is doing this because it seems like this is the only way to bond with you, ma'am. Getting drunk or going to the gym. You have to show up in your marriage. You're not showing up, spandex. Alan doesn't like to be told what to do, but Alan, she isn't bossing you around. She's looking out for your well-being and everybody else on the road. Alan, now, don't piss me off. Emem and Dr. Pia. So Emem is meeting with Dr. Pia, and Dr. Pia wants the tea. She's like, girl, tell me, because you know I be getting intel and whatnot. She wants to know what is happening. So Emem said he's not ready. That's what it is. She said, I've called, I've texted, no answer, but I definitely want to see my husband. Emem, are you freaking kidding me? You are aggravating my spirit. Why are you chasing him down? He doesn't like you, girl. You know what? I don't understand how we lose our marbles as soon as we get on this show. This show is not an excuse for you to forget your worth. Do not chase him down. Do not call him. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 and throw that damn air fryer out the window. I'm not playing with you. Throw it away. So Dr. Pia is me. Because she's trying to figure out what is going on. She said, girl, he's called you out of your name. He's made inflammatory comments. Why do you want to be with him? Why? Okay, quickly make it make sense, because it does not. So then she says, well, I feel like he will realize what he's saying is a defense mechanism. Okay, I'm not about to fight against desperation, because the only defense is no defense. You want us to sit and think about maybe it's a defense mechanism. Do you want us not to be so hard on him as well? Oh, okay, because I'm going to do what I want. Moving forward. So then Dr. Pia says, well, you know what? Lead with that. From now on, lead with your feelings, because you catch more flies with honey. You know, tell him how you feel. She shouldn't have to tell a grown man not to call her an a-hole. She should not have to tell this black man not to call his black wife aggressive on national TV. She shouldn't have to tell him that. She said, you know, I feel like that's different than you just sitting up talking about, talking about his suit. Let me tell you something. He better be happy she was that nice. So then Emem was like, yeah, I was being petty. I did call his suit ugly. I was being petty. So she's still trying to rationalize wanting this man, talking about, well, you know, initially it's the way that I ask questions. I think that's what's rubbing him the wrong way, because, you know, I want him to expound on his answers, because normally they're just fluff and I'm very direct. But when someone refers to their wife as aggressive, that's not cool, because I don't know him like that. This is where Dr. Pia lost me. Now, she was doing good when she was telling Emem, girl, why do you want this man if he's all of that and he's done all this to you? But this is where you lost me. This woman says, oh, okay, so you don't know him like that, but you know him enough to call him your husband, call him your man. You know him well enough to do that. What? She said, I call him my husband because he is. And that is facts. Those are the facts. That is her husband. Do you know what show you're on, Dr. Pia? It's Married at First Sight. This is not Blind Date. So yeah, she's going to call him her husband because that's her husband. Then she starts with this, ooh, you're spicy. Dr. P always talking about somebody spicy. She just hates for these women to take up for themselves. So you condone this imbecile calling this black woman, his wife, aggressive as you call her spicy? When did she get spicy? That's the same thing she did with Carla. And I was just like, when has Carla been spicy? And if she is spicy, she has a right to. Juan is playing in her face. He's an undercover opportunist and everybody is letting him slide because Ikechi is so loud with his. But she's not wrong. That is her husband. I mean, I don't know why she would want to call him that, but that's what we really should be worried about. You really should be saying to her, why would you want to call this man your husband? Girl, get real. But anyway, you mad because she giving spice. So little Tabasco is sitting there and she says, I'm being spicy? What? How am I being spicy? She's telling them, you know what? Let me give you an example. So when my husband comes in, sometimes I want answers right away and I just want to talk to him. And if he's had a bad day, I want to know why immediately. But now I've learned to just back off and then my husband will come to me so that I'm still getting what I need. Dr. Pia, that is excellent advice for people who know each other. They do not know each other. The only way to get to know each other is to question each other. Am I losing my mind? Please, somebody tell me if I'm losing my mind. Because I think that is the way that you get to know your spouse, by asking questions. Like, what is happening? She's telling Emem that she needs to meet him where he's at instead of badgering him with questions because it makes him shut down. She wants her to be malleable to her husband and his needs. Why is nobody addressing his deplorable behavior? Now how he's treating her is understandable because she's spicy and she's asking questions. Y'all are ridiculous. So you don't want her to say anything to him. You want her to just come in and be quiet. So you're teaching her to bat her eyelashes and lay down while this man calls her predatory. Let me tell you something. I could never do this. In the words of Paige, I could never do this process. I could never do this. You basically blamed her for his behavior. So then Emem says, well, I hope when I see him, he comes in ready to receive it. Emem, the way that he left is the way that he will return. Moving forward. Dr. Pia, girl, don't piss me off. That was awful advice. Just awful. Camille and Thomas. So they're meeting with Dr. Pepper. I see you, Swaggy T, with your corporate drip on. I see you look nice. Not Thomas put on his push present earrings before walking in. That's his push present. He got in there, baby, and got him a pair of earrings. Please take those earrings off with that suit. That looks a fool. Dr. Pepper talking about, oh, that's interesting. Okay, Swaggy T. This is a mess. So Dr. Pepper is talking to them about their backgrounds, and she's asking Thomas about his dad. He starts telling her about how great of a guy he was and how he made a mistake in college, and his dad told him to extract a lesson and learn from it. But when his dad passed away, he didn't have him there to help him through those mistakes that he's made throughout life. And he starts to get really emotional, and I feel so bad for him. I don't know why. I just feel like Camille is sometimes so closed off. It's like she did reach over and rub his back, but it didn't give any feeling behind it. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. She's going through her own things internally as well. So then Camille talks about her parents divorcing and how it caused her to have to go into protective mode over her sister. And she didn't have time to think about herself. And at that moment, I really liked how Dr. Pepper showed up for them, because she was really taking the time to talk to them and walk them through what was going on. But Thomas said it was his first time ever seeing her cry, and he wants her to be more vulnerable and he wants her to open up more. So then Dr. Pepper gives them an exercise, and y'all know how they do every season. Write a letter to your younger selves. Now, I hope Camille will open up a little bit and allow Thomas in, because I think he really cares a lot about her, and I hope that they make it. I really do, because I think if Camille would just let her guard down just a little bit, she'll see that Thomas is actually a nice guy. Carla and Juan. So Carla's showing up for her free meal. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing, Carla. Her and Juan are out to dinner, and Juan went right in with the business questions. So Carla brought her a little notebook, honey, because she gonna write down all these free ideas, because when we say no on decision day, I got all the ideas I need. Okay. So she's telling him that she doesn't want a traditional salon. She wants her to be the only chair, and then she also wants to have a place where she can do Pilates and yoga. And so he suggests that she does have other chairs. Now, Carla, let me tell you what I suggest, because I always be giving y'all a little bit of advice. I suggest that you just be the owner of a salon and have other stylists work under you. I feel like you can just do hair whenever, but not actually have a chair where you're there every day, so that you'll be able to move and shake, because I feel like you like a life that's more free and you don't really like a schedule. So I don't think that would be feasible for you. So Juan is giving her some advice and she wants to take it all in, but she said that she's more of a creative. Carla, I feel like you should just be an influencer and then build from there. I don't think that hair is your passion, but maybe that's just me. Thomas and Camille. So him and his earrings are at the shared apartment with Camille. They're folding clothes in the kitchen on the counter. I'm like, what is happening? He told her that it was good to see her emotional side. And she said that she's good for one cry a year. Listen, Camille, I'm speaking directly to you, honey. Don't wear that like a badge of honor. Let it out if you need to let it out, because that is a silent killer. And as you get older, you will start to see that you got to let those things out. Don't hold that in. It's not cool to say, I only cry once a year. Crying is okay. It's a release, and we need that. So Thomas said, he just recently started to tap into his more expressive side and his more emotional side too. And she says that she compartmentalizes things and pushes things to the side. Camille, you need to go see the lady as well. Okay? Because I can tell that you needed that cry. That cry that you had in front of Dr. Pepper, you needed that. And sometimes talking to someone is all we need to get the tools to cope with what we're going through. You gotta talk to somebody. Baby, let me tell you something. My 9-year-old has been in therapy since he was 3. We gon' talk. And I check in very often with him. How's your mental health? And you know what he told me one day? Mommy, when you ask me about my mental health, that makes me feel so good. Like, you're concerned and you want to talk about it. You need to do that. Moving forward. Meanwhile, Thomas is speaking about their future together, saying that he wants her to open up because they have a whole life ahead of them. I said, oh, now I'm hoping Camille is down for it. And I'm hoping that she says yes. And if she says yes, I'm hoping that she lets Thomas be himself. And please retire those earrings. Baby, this is not the 90s. Okay? It is not. Madison and Alan. So Alan is telling us basically Madison hates everything about him. And he's never had to work this hard to get somebody to like him. And now he's wondering, does she like him at all? What does she like about me? Oh, I can answer that, Alan. Pick me. Okay? She likes your car and your newly renovated kitchen. Moving forward. Michelle and David. So she's with her stylist. Now, let me say this about you, Michelle. Girl, I know you got, a little change or whatever, but you are spending money on frivolous things. You do not need a stylist to put together these 2 pieces that come off the mannequin. And also, you got an eyebrow tech that ain't browing. Girl, because the way this lady picked these clothes out for David, I could have done that. Child, this is a mess. Girl, save your money. So she brings her stylist, and they're trying to find clothes to zhuzh David up. So then David shows up, and Michelle hit him with, a side hug. This is simply content at this point, because that's very insulting. Honey, not a side hug, but at least she let her touch him. I don't know, child. So he's willing to do whatever for his preference. So let's see the looks. Now he comes out in the first look. The first look was basic. The flannel was basic as well. Michelle, are you just giving these people titles? Because I could have pulled those looks. Not him standing up here looking like a Banana Republic ad. Girl, anyway. And I won't even give it Banana Republic. I would give it the Gap. Now the Gap to Old Navy. Walmart, the new section. Walmart, the new section. This man put on this denim. And then this woman gonna say, oh yeah, you look like Drake and Travis Kelce. They wear denim on denim and they're trendsetters. Drake? Baby, not Drake in my Soulja Boy voice. What is happening? That's how you like him, Michelle. You know what? You could probably pull Drake. He like him like you. So you probably could pull Drake. But girl, David is not. And that last Build-A-Boo outfit he put on, it looked thrifted and not in a good way. Because I love to go thrifting, but it did not look like something that should have been put together. David, I don't care if you bought everything Drake owns. Michelle don't like you. Then she made him pay for his new elevated look. You know what? I have to do this, and I was really trying not to. I'm going to take a page out of Ikechi's book, and I'm going to recite you a poem, David. She does not like you as her spouse. She does not like you in a blouse. Mostly because you have no house. She does not like you in those jeans. She's simply doing this to be mean. She does not like you as her man. I'm saying this as nice as I can. Inspired by Dr. Seuss. Inspired by Dr. Seuss. Oh, child. David, she don't give a damn. I don't care what clothes you put on. And I don't care how much y'all play Build-A-Boo. She ain't gonna like it. The same thing Haley did to Jacob when she went and got them clothes down at the Ross Dress for Less. Brought them back to Jacob. Jacob put them on. 2 seconds later, Jacob was back with the oldies. So, sir, what would you gonna wear, honey? Because it don't look too different than what you already had on. Madison and Alan. So they're meeting with Dr. Pepper, and she wants to hear where they are. Alan starts talking about how he came in as himself, and he's shifted to what Madison likes. But the more she chips away at him, he's wondering, are you even, what do you like about me? Are you even attracted to me? This woman said, I do like things about you. I like your effort. I like that you're loyal. No, that's for you. That's not for him. What do you like about him? Not what do you like that he does. What do you like about him? You like his effort? What? His effort to go to the gym just to appease you? Or his effort to go out and get drunk because you like to toss him back and he wants to be included in your friend group because clearly you friend zoned him? What exactly do you like about him, Madison? Huh, Maddie? So Alan finally said it. He said, yeah, that's all good and whatnot. But I want attraction. So then he mentions to her how she naturally hugs David, but she struggles with him. I said, ooh, not him bringing up David, baby. Now Mr. Ponytail. Let me tell you something. Madison, he peeping game. Now, I don't know who it was. I know, I did see David's hand, or what looked like David's hand, feeding Madison, but we can never read too much into that. So I don't know if it's Juan or I don't know if it's David. But he's peeping the way that you give preferential hugs to David. So then he turns to her and he said, are you attracted? She said, well, that's a weird question. It's definitely not a weird question. It's weird that you're trying to spin it like it's not realistic to ask if you're attracted to him. That's what's weird. So Dr. Pepper said, no, what he's trying to figure out is is there ever something that you just say, ooh, I really like that about him? Now, she came up with some BS, and Dr. Pepper told Alan to focus on that more. She's like, well, what she does like about you, do that more. So how was your childhood? Dr. Pepper, girl, we're going to have to work on the transitions. We're trying to figure out why this lady is not attracted to this man, and you talk about what happened when they were 2. Girl, what? These people are drowning in these lifeless marriages. He's drinking and driving and gymming, and she's wearing spandex all the damn time. Now is not the time to get to the bottom of the childhood. It is just not. So then Alan starts talking about the custody battle and the trauma that it caused him and his family. And Madison, I must say to you, the way that you responded to him, that was weird. You started laughing and well, look at where we are now. I was like, what are you talking about? So she starts to talk about how she didn't feel safe growing up and how she didn't have a safe space to be. And she told Alan that her mom said some extremely hurtful things to her as a child, and that's why certain things trigger her. Now, I was wondering if she was implying that her mom had a problem with alcohol, because she didn't say that, but maybe that would be the reason why she didn't want him to drink and drive. But it just doesn't make sense for him to do that anyway. So Alan told her that he wants to work to make her feel safe. And Dr. Pepper told him any area involving drinking, he might not want to do that. And so that will help it. Camille and Thomas. Child, she better be happy Thomas is who he is, because she is so rude to him. He tried to go sit in a seat and he was like, oh, I was going to sit there, but okay. She was like, no, this is my seat. This is my Oprah seat. I was like, she is just so rude. Anyway, they're reading their letters to their younger selves. She goes first. She tells him that she used to be shy, but her parents separating got her to come out of it. Then Thomas reads his. Thomas, you putting these earrings to work, child. You done had these earrings on for 12 hours straight. You can take them off. You can take them off. He's so scared to take them off. He might go down on the swaggometer. Moving forward. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I kind of checked out on this part. I'm so sorry. But when I returned, he wanted to know what she knows now that she wishes she knew then. And I checked out again. I'm so sorry, honey. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing, y'all. So then he starts talking about triggers. And she said what she needs from him is some reassurance, because men in the past, they just did whatever they could do just to get her in the bed, but they didn't really care about her for real. That's why she's kind of guarded. Now, I told y'all, didn't I tell y'all on that live? I said, I feel like she's guarded and she's not used to being in a good relationship after so many fools. And she expressed the same thing to Thomas. So now I can kind of understand where she's coming from. Juan and Carla. So they're going to a Pilates class. She's an instructor and she wants to build a business around it. So she took him to one of her friends' Pilates studio. And I mean, I feel like you can do that, Carla, because let me tell you something. Raven from Love is Blind, the one that was with SK, I think it was the Dallas season. Was it the Dallas season? Yeah. Or it might have been the Houston season. I don't know. But she has built a successful Pilates business online. So I feel like you should reach out to her. I mean, y'all did go through the same production company and whatnot. So I would just hit her up in the DMs and get a little bit of knowledge on how she did it. If you really want to be, because she's like really into Pilates. So if you like that sort of thing, then you should reach out to Raven. Now that's neither here nor there. That's just a side note. And y'all, Pilates looks easy, but baby, that ain't no joke. That is no joke. That will get your body right. Okay, it really will. So they do the class. After they do it, Juan chooses a crystal, and it told him that he needed to have patience. Child, with Carla, you gonna need it. Juan and Carla give BFF. Nothing to see here. There is zero romantic chemistry. Zero. Moving forward. 23 days until decision day. Emem and Ikechi. So she's in the car and we see her doing a little cam, honey. She's in the car being brainwashed, talking about, I'm meeting him today and I hope, he feels like he's safe to speak. Girl, he would definitely need security playing with me. Okay, he would sure need to be safe. He would have to be on a Zoom call if he wanted to talk to me. So then we see him and his cam, and he's saying, yeah, I've done wrong, but it's because wrong has been done to me. Boy, gone. You cannot accept responsibility or take accountability for anything that you did. You said right in Pastor Calvin's face, and you straight up lied. It wasn't until he called you out for calling this woman out of her name that you said, yeah, I disrespected her. But had he not called you out, you were going to get away with that. And that lets me know that you will sit in front of any expert and lie. So therefore, and thus and such, I don't want to hear nothing else you have to say. Moving forward. So Emem arrives first, and she's eager, and she's greeted by Pastor Cal and Dr. Pia. So Pastor Cal is telling her, we really want to reset and rediscover the value. What value? What value? There's no value here at all. So he comes in with his backpack in tow. Y'all know how he like to do. No greeting for her whatsoever. I said, this is tragic. There is only so many times I will allow you to come in and sit down next to me and stonewall me. If your energy is bad, I would get up and first of all, I wouldn't even be there. Because once you mess with my livelihood and my reputation and my money, I cannot be bothered with you. I'm sorry. So she's talking about, if he comes in and he puts in zero effort, then I'm done. Girl, you shouldn't be even sitting there. What are you thinking? He has shown you who he is. You are worth so much more than this. You're successful. You're good looking. And then there's Ikechi. What do you want with him? He comes in talking about, I'm good. I don't give a damn. The way I would oh my goodness. I'm glad I'm not MM. Because baby, as soon as the experts said to him, how are you? And he said, I'm good. I would have looked at them and said, I don't give a damn. They would be like, all right, Misha, well, you're going to have to go. Yeah, I sure will, honey. Don't threaten me with a good time. So he comes in talking about he good. Dr. Pia starts by saying, I want full transparency, because I think you guys are having some kind of issues and saying whatever you need to say to each other. I want full transparency. You sure? Because if she gives you full transparency, I don't want you saying she's being too spicy. So they want to know, when did this start? She said at the housewarming. It started after he went to your place. But if you think it started at the housewarming, then okay. Emem says that he called her aggressive at the housewarming. He said, yeah. Okay, well, they were asking me to explain her or describe her in 5 words, and I used one of those words to describe her. She said, yeah, but then when we met with Dr. Pia, he said that I make him uncomfortable because I've made sexual advances at him. And I took that as I do too much and I need to back off. So Ikechi agreed. He said, I didn't want to do it, and then things don't work out in our marriage, so I'm just trying to protect our relationship. And when he said that, I said, okay, I can respect that. But you should have communicated that. I can respect that. If you don't want to use, I respect him not using her for sex. But all those loaded words are being purposely used to create a narrative. You are not stupid. You know exactly what you are doing. Please don't play dumb. So then Dr. Pia wanted to know, have you expressed that to her? No. Well, then how is she supposed to know that? She cannot read your mind. Pastor Cal, who loves to get to the sex of it all, he tells them that they need to organically let it happen and don't put limits on themselves, because when people come into the experiment and they try to control it, it doesn't work. He starts going off about it's more than one way to get to know each other, and I just feel like, she just want to have sex to get to know each other. He brings up that he wanted her to go to listen to music, and she started with the questions. Let me tell you something, I call BS. So you want her to ride silently in the car, get to said place, listen to music silently, drive home after the date silently, come into the house silently, and go to bed? Absolutely not. She said, well, I had questions. So then Pastor Cal starts talking about, Ikechi is passionate and you lead with your heart. What heart is given the Wizard of Oz? What heart has he shown? It's given the Tin Man. So then he turns to Emem and says, and you lead with reasoning. So you're thinking if he wants you, then he'll have sex. That is not fair to her. That is not fair. I have not seen one person protect or take into account her experience with this man so far. Now y'all are sitting here saying that she basically was looking at him like, if you don't put out, then you don't like me. This is all about how to make him happy. Pastor Cal talking about he's art and you're science. You are making excuses for her being verbally abused. Emem, girl, you got to stand up for yourself. Do not continue to sit here. The fact that they are making this woman sound like a sex-crazed mad scientist is insane. Pastor Cal, you're talking, but you ain't saying nothing. Then Dr. Pia says, I feel like this was just a miscommunication. Can we move forward? No, the only moving forward will be over here on this channel. Moving forward. There was no miscommunication. He communicated very well. She's like, you guys need to just say things to each other very explicitly. Oh, honey, he couldn't say it any more plain. He was extremely explicit. Trust me. So she wants to know if they can commit to getting things right and being together again. So then Emem eagerly says yes. Baby, this is a fool. You know what? At this point, whatever happens, just happens. I cannot be bothered, because if this is what you like, then go ahead on. Then they turn and say to Ikechi, what do you need from her to commit? Now y'all see how that went? Did y'all see them on this episode turn to Emem and ask her what she needed? I'm done. This is sick. The amount of gaslighting that took place in this episode is ridiculous. You know what he needs? He needs to go to hell. But that's neither here nor there. That's just a side note. He said that he needs a bit of understanding. Okay, escape. What I need from you is understanding. Okay, I got it, y'all. He said he needs understanding and a genuine desire to see who he is. How is she going to know who you are if she can't even speak? Okay. Let me tell you something. This is all about ways to pacify him and figure out what he needs, and I am pissed. So then Emem says, well, it's going to be hard for me to just be, and if I'm struggling, I want you to kind of give me a cheat code, like give me a heads up. Girl, that is crazy. You are going to forever be walking on eggshells. Are you here? Like, are you present? So then Dr. Pia says, well, you know what? It's not going to work if y'all don't move back in together. This nurse practitioner turns to the starving artist and she says, will you move back in with me? Girl, you might as well get down on one knee and propose to him. Are you on prescription medication? You know what? Like I said, whatever happens next happens. I cannot be more upset than you. The way that man clowned you at that dinner and the way that man talked to you on 1 month of you knowing him, after 1 month of you knowing him, he spoke to you the way that he did, and you are sitting here and saying to him, will you move back in with me? So after agreeing, he then says, I can't say that I'm excited. This is what he's saying in his confessional. Well, then if you're not excited, don't bring your duffel bag back across the threshold then. The fact that she's the one that asked is laughable. This has got to be a joke. We got to be on candid camera. We got to be. They are making this woman look like a thirsty, desperate fool. And she's just taking the bait. Oh, child, this is ridiculous. And that was the end of the episode. Listen, let's get down to who's swapping and who cheating. Because as far as Emem and Ikechi, if they like it, I love it. Okay, I know it's going to get a little bit more heated and a little bit more spicy, and we're going to have to talk about it. Meet me Thursday night. Okay, my voice is a little bit touch and go, but I'm going to push through. Meet me Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time so we can talk about this. So we can talk about the fact that they made sure to appease this man and treat this black woman like she was disposable. She's spicy. Child, a whole fool. Anywho, y'all comment down below and I'm going to comment back. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.